Panic is like an accumulation of what Destroyer of Light has been since we started to where we're at now. Or Degradation Years is like maybe where we're heading in the future for us, the members of the band.
What's up, everybody? It's Falling Apart Keefy at ghostcoldmag.com, and I'm super stoked to talk for the first time to Steve from Destroyer of Light, but I am a longtime fan, sir. How are you?
I appreciate that very much. I'm good. I'm doing well.
Yeah. I'm glad you're doing well. It's a crazy bananas time in the world, and music is sometimes the only refuge. Let's talk about the, we're here to talk about the new record that's coming out, and we'll unpack Degradation Years in a second. But let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room that at the end of this, this release is incoming, and you have a final tour booked, and then the band is basically going on indefinite hiatus. And you've had other musical endeavors, and the other folks in the band have too. But like, why is now a time to kind of put this to bed?
Well, so me, Penny, and Keegan, we've been together for 12 years, the three of us. And I think it was around, so we did Panic and Degradation Years during that whole pandemic. So we basically spent that whole time being creative. But it wasn't until we did a tour on Panic in 2023 that me and Keegan were having conversations that we feel like we've completed everything that we can do on our own for this band. We've been DIY pretty much the whole time we've been together. I think we've gone as far as we can go, and we felt like it was a good time to, say our piece. And I felt like Degradation Years is a good way to cap it off. The catalyst is that our bass player, Mike, him and his wife moved to Atlanta, and he told us that, but he was able to, fulfill the tour dates and all that. So me, Penny, Keegan got together, and we all came to a conclusion like this is a good way to just say, hey, that's it.
Fair enough. Does it give you, does that comfort you? Do you feel at peace? Is it disappointing? Are you sad? Is it all those things? Because I know at the end of a project for me, I get the sads real bad, but that's me.
Well, yeah, this band was my baby. I basically moved from Michigan down to Texas, came up with the band name, wrote Greet Death, and then I was jamming with Penny and Keegan within like 2 weeks of living here. And and this band's been my identity, since it's my Austin, Texas identity is Destroyer of Light. And I just recently turned 41. So I was like 12 years in Texas, I'm now 41 years old. And yeah, so I had been having those questions of sadness, but also like I feel like my songwriting is different now, which Degradation Years shows that. And I think it's just a good way to maybe like try something else and new.
Right on. I appreciate that. And again, much love. Again, I have been a longtime fan. Ghost Cult has been around almost 12 years. So the exact timeline you're talking about has been the existence of this thing that I took over in the middle of year one. We had a digital magazine for 20 issues, and then we just became a full daily website. And originally we were formed with the intent to cover bands like yours. We cover a lot of other things now. I just posted a thing about like some butt rock festival with, Disturbed and things, which is what you have to do to get attention. Like my heart is in Sumac and Destroyer of Light and these things that I grew up and was, formed by, that informed me. So, such a fan. And it also kind of reminds me, I don't know if you were ever a fan of or remember the band U.S. Christmas, which was another, I love Nate Hall and just a criminally underrated band. And I feel like a high quality musical output, many great albums, like one better than the next somehow, kind of reminds me of you and y'all. And then just like we hit a ceiling and this is like, where we go, how do we go forward in a weird, uncaring world where, art is commoditized. I'm going to get off my soapbox in a second and just get back to you. But, I feel like bands like that, that's what we were created to do. And so if we can bring attention to this last release and cover your tour and help promote you in any way, that's our mission still.
No, I appreciate that. And I do want to say, Nate Hall's a homie. He's always been great. He's always like, his solo bands opened up for Destroyer Light several times in Asheville. And in 2008 at Scion Fest, I got to see U.S. Christmas. A buddy of mine was like, dude, you need to check out this band. And when I saw him live, I was like, oh shit. And I didn't know him at the time. I didn't meet him until like 2014. But Yeah, huge U.S. Christmas fan. They put on a hell of a show.
Low Dogs is a Hall of Fame record to me, in my opinion. Like, so,
Oh, it's great.
and then so Degradation Years, like, what a perfect title. Even the album cover is matching my mood right now. It's like, I can't do a bottle of JMO right now, but I could if if I did, I'd be in the ground, but like, I would love to. It's been a rough ride, right? Any human being living the last few years it's like, oh, of course, like that's a perfect title. And it sums up, I'm sure it sums up a lot of this music for you also.
Yeah, some of the lyrical content can relate to what was going on at the time, what was going on in my head, what was going on in our head. And, I battled with depression and suicide in the past and, had to, conquer that. And yeah, I just felt like it was a dark time, and it was good for a record of getting that out of my system, getting it out of our systems, like get a cathartic experience out of such a weird time,
Sorry, unmuted myself too fast. Trigger finger itchy. I relate completely to this. I know it was a very hard time, especially the worst of the hard times when we were shut in and things like that, and things didn't return to normal. We didn't know if we were getting shows back. I'm definitely not doing things at the club. We used to do these in person at clubs, in the basement of clubs and bars, and on stage before the show, after sound check. And now it's all over these, I'm still glad to see you. I'm really glad to do this, but it's, it's created its own challenges for us too. And I'm really glad you were able to get this music out of your system. And it is hard to talk about mental health problems. Because I can't help myself and I don't have a lid. I share. I'm a chronic oversharer. But I would say, it's good to get it out. Whatever your release is, my release is this kind of stuff. So, I'm glad you have an outlet still, and I hope you have another outlet, or whatever the next thing whatever shape your art is taking next will lead you to the next thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's important to talk about. That was the problem, was I didn't talk about it. I let it build up for years, and then I finally exploded. So it's important to always talk about. But yeah, I'm in a band called Tempo Love with my wife, who is in Witch Crier. I'm sure you remember them. And
huge fan, humongous fan. Huge. I have a Witch Crier shirt I've been wearing in interviews. Probably like I took it out of rotation a couple of months ago, but like all late 23, my interviews, I had that shirt on. It's like orange, burnt sienna orange with the logo. Like everyone saw it.
Awesome. Hell yeah, they were great. They still are. I mean, but yeah, we have a band we started more like the rock and roll side, but through tinges of goth. Basically, the blueprint was to sound like the Cult during the early days, but now it's like where we used to be a 2-guitar player band. Now I'm the only guitar player, and it's kind of giving me a chance to explore following the Billy Duffy path. But now I'm going Geordie Walker from Killing Joke. So I'm trying to be like, combine those two in a little dough and see what happens. But we finished an EP and writing more stuff right now. So hopefully that'll be my main writing focus. And I did a horror thing, Suspiriorum, too, with Susie as well. I've been writing stuff for that as well.
Amazing. I'm a big Killing Joke guy also, and I was very saddened by the loss of Geordie. What a titanic, unreplaceable guy.
Oh yeah, there's no guitar player like him.
Yeah, I know that Killing Joke has like shows on the books and things to do, but like you can get somebody to play his parts, but you can't get him. He's going
exactly
from the universe, and it's a bummer. But we're losing our heroes. This is what's happening. But in terms of on the positive tip, right? This album's I got to jam this out. It's so good.
Thank you.
I really love it. And, what I've always appreciated about your records is it's always kind of like you care about music making to the level, like I'm an album listener. If I can just listen to an album and almost like the first listen through, I don't even really look at song titles. I just listen. I just close my eyes and I enjoy whatever I'm hearing. And then I go back when I'm going to do an interview or write a review, and I critically analyze like a maniac scientist person, like making a Frankenstein monster. So, I feel like this record's a whole journey. I don't, it could be a concept record. It could not loosely a concept, obviously, on, these last few years, but, and it's been a pretty quick turnaround from the last release to this one, which is also kind of interesting. I went back and I listened, and then A-B'd the two records just for myself, my own pleasure. So it's really a really fine, it's a really great job of storytelling.
I appreciate that, man. Like, yeah, they're kind of loosely concepts. Like Panic is more about how situations turn people into selfish assholes, and we turn against each other. And it focuses on different kinds of disasters and things that lead to it. Where Degradation Years is more about the internal turmoil it brings you, basically the individual that's seeing it from their perspective, and it just bums them out, basically. So yeah, that's kind of the like, and I'd say also too, Panic is like an accumulation of what Destroyer of Light has been since we started to where we're at now. Or Degradation Years is like maybe where we're heading in the future for us, members of the band.
But also for all of us. Like we're all,
Also for all of us.
it's
Yeah.
coming for all of us. It cannot stop.
Yeah.
The hands of time will not be slowed, my friend. Let's do a quick track by track association of Degradation Years. I'm gonna drop the titles and you share whatever you want to. Could be anything about music, lyrics, the recording, whatever you feel like. Doesn't have to be too lengthy, and you certainly don't have to reveal all your wizard secrets to us. But anything you want to share, I'm sure our audience would dig it.
Yeah, no problem.
Right on. The first track is Cruel World.
Yes. So I basically wrote that song in this room I'm in right now. That was the one beautiful thing about the pandemic, is I was able to get a setup in here so I could write all my demos and like get them to program drums. And I can record my vocals so I can get a good sounding demo to be like, hey guys, this is what I got. But yeah, Cruel World, I basically wrote all in here within a 2-3 hour period. And I was thinking of Soundgarden at the time. And like, I don't get really emotional about celebrities that die, but Chris Cornell's really hit me hard. Just his lyrical content and the fact that he was, he fought alcoholism and suicide for so long and looked like he beat it. And then it just happened. And then it was like, that bummed me out. So yeah, I finished Cruel World basically, it's funny because I usually, when I do program drums, like Penny can do whatever he wants on drums. He's a good enough drummer, but he actually was like in some of the stuff I was doing and he tried to incorporate it into his drumming. But yeah, it's a really, really cool song. And I mean, that's basically about how just giving up. The world sucks. Everyone sucks. We're just killing each other. There's no need to save us. Just let us burn it all to the ground and say goodbye.
feels that feel that I feel that very heavily. Obviously, yeah, Cornell I also never recovered from. I can tell you exactly where I was when I found out too. I was at a music festival. It was brutal. Yeah, I just got the news on my phone and the whole place went like, oh my god. The second track is the very ominous titled Waiting for the End.
Yeah. This was kind of a cool one because like this was a jam. Like the beginning of it, we just were screwing around, and we had just gotten back in the room and we had already started working on some of these songs. I mean, songs for Panic were written, like Contagion was written a while ago. So some of these songs had already been written, but this one was like just a freeform jam. And then all of a sudden the chorus came and then Keegan wrote the really BOC kind of lead after. And I was like, you know what? I took it home and kind of messed with it. And then I kind of came with some more parts. And then once we started fleshing out, like, man, this is a pretty poppy song. This is like something weird for us, but we're like, no, fuck it, let's go. And we just thought it was a nice, weird, quirky song. But yeah, that's more about how people in power were just watching us kill ourselves and they don't care about us at all.
And how we see that every day. The third track is Perception of Time.
This became my dark horse favorite track on the album. It's, what, when I went into it, I'm a big Deftones fan, and I was actually thinking along those lines. And I don't know if people will pick up on it, but the last riff in that song I took from a Deftones song. Yeah, it was kind of like I had written a demo here. I pretty much had this one fleshed out on my own here. I'm pretty sure the duo in the chorus, that was actually Keegan's idea to throw in when we were in the studio. And I was like, damn, that's cool. I like that. But yeah, I was just like getting weird, and like one piece of the song is kind of like synthy and smooth. And then it gets into like more of a rock oriented thing. I think that I'm trying to remember what I was writing that one about, but I think it's just like how time escapes us and you want to go back in time sometimes and relive some other moments. And sometimes you wish you were somewhere else at a certain time than where you were. And I mean, for that song, it's like recapturing my adolescence in a way, because it's like these influences that I had when I was younger. It was kind of like I want to bring those out.
Right on, right on. My favorite track is the next track. It's hard to pick out one, but if I had to single out one that I personally like hit me the hardest, it was Failure.
Yeah, I actually when this streamed today, I had to listen to it like as other people will, and like the ending of the song, I was like, damn, that really hits hard because I do live with regret. I did sit here and been like, I'm talking about all this stuff, but I ain't doing shit. I have to still live my life. I'm trying to survive, and then I'm seeing all this shit happen to other people, and I'm just like my hands are tied, but I feel like an asshole, but I'm trying to live my life too. And just those thoughts of like guilt of, and yeah, just feeling like I just failed and everything.
You haven't, but it's a common emotion we all have. No notes on that one other than that. But this next track's fun. I didn't know if this was a reference to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but of course, Man with No Name. You can't think about that title without that association. I could be wrong though.
No, yeah, with my songs, I love when other people have other interpretations and they tell me that's kind of what I prefer, as I like what other people feel, what they got out of it. And I'm like, I didn't think about that. That's cool. I didn't. So that's awesome. But I mean, does have the spaghetti Western kind of guitar. I got to play, I played my Fender Strat on that one. I had that one tuned down to C standard and recorded that. And it's funny because when I wrote this song, I had Autopilot by Queens of the Stone Age in my head. And actually, like, I was thinking of Mark Lanigan, and then I wrote the song before he died. But then when he died, I was like, damn, like, I was thinking with Mark Lanigan, Autopilot in my mind when I wrote this song. And so it's kind of like my tribute to Mark Lanigan in a way. The song lyrics is just about someone who's fucked up, burned some bridges, and wants to just crawl in the grave and die, but they can't hide. They have to keep on living, and then they have to live with the guilt the rest of their life for all the mistakes that they made.
If you're feeling bad about yourself, go read Mark Lanigan's 2 books. That guy describes rock bottom in a way I didn't even think was possible.
What was that called?
And his main one that's like a full memoir is Sing Backwards and Weep. And then he had a second book during the last couple of years before he passed away that was more of like lyrics and stories about them. But Sing Backwards and Weep is just a heartbreaker, his whole everything. And also, I knew you were I had a feeling you were a Morricone spaghetti Western type of music guy anyway. I could tell.
Oh, yeah.
I always knew that, actually, just subconsciously. you would be a fan, of course. And I like the vibe. Another one, the next to last track, not related to the band, but Blind Faith, a really good name for a title.
Yeah. Wow. That one was funny because it was like, let's write a fast song. I was like, what? Penny, you want to write a fast song? And I was like, that was an improvisational jam as well, like the chorus, and then like the verse riff. I've always wanted to do a riff like that in a band, so I'm glad I got to do it with my boys. And that song just basically came about how people blindly believe in religion and law. I mean, I respect laws in some way, but like, like I guess like the Blue Lives Matter kind of thing kind of spiraled out of control. And I was just like, you can't really trust anybody. It was kind of like a tongue in cheek, blindly believe into that they're helping you out, but really they don't care. More about that. Blindly believe what you want to believe.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's a cliche that still holds up for me.
Yeah. And I mean, what was cool with that song too is another nugget was the bridge in that song. I'm a big Nothing Face fan. I think they were very underrated and got looped aside because of the whole new metal shit. And I get it, but they were way more talented than most of the other ones. And Matt Holt was an amazing vocalist, and he did some really cool harmonies, especially on Violence and Skeleton. And so I did a Matt Holt harmony for him, and in tribute to him as what he meant to me growing up.
Yeah, man, that's great. I love. Well, did we just become best friends? Nothing Faces, another band that was like so big for me. I got to meet Matt and Bill many times, and
but they're cool. He was a cool guy.
So nice and so cool. And, Bill is very busy producing. I would love to see him make a comeback of some sorts for the bigger band. But that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing. I will not sing Bleeder in the middle of the interview, but in my brain, I just did sing the chorus.
Dude, I had Violence in my CD player for like 5 years.
Same.
When it came out, it was like, that was one of my favorite records.
And Audio Guide is insane. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
And they got some, like you said, a bad rep. They did get a bad rep a little bit, but I don't know. I like all that stuff, and I love new metal. You were talking about Deftones before. Deftones were like, they reject all of that, but those songs are still beloved, and I love to hear. Chino is so good at rapping that he can be like, I'm never going to rap again. Screw that. Well, he's so good at it.
That was my favorite thing about them, is that, so they did White Pony. They're like, we're going completely left. And I mean, that's kind of been my mentality with us being called Stoner Doom. As soon as it got called Stoner Doom, I was like,
nope. Next.
Just what? The fact that they made White Pony, and then the record label is like, you don't have a rap rock song on there. And they're like, I guess they went in the studio and did that Back to School. And they're like, here you go.
They hate it, but it also rules. Yeah. I know that Deftones fans are like, fuck that song. And Don Ienner, who made them go do it at the Bajer label and everything. And they took Mini Maggot, which was this beautiful avant-garde song, and they made it into a popular, a Linkin Park Korn song, which is no shit on that. I love Korn and Linkin Park. But it's funny. This Back to School comes up all the time as the pinnacle example of the last 25 years of the music business. Here's a perfect album. Here's how to fuck it up. But a band that's competent can do that and make a hit. They still made a hit, and they didn't need to, because people I know, now we have TikTok and things like that, and Digital Bath and Change in the House of Flies and Passenger are humongous songs. Knife Party is huge songs. I saw a whole here in San Francisco. I saw them with Gojira a year and a half ago, and they did Knife Party, and 8,000 people lost their shit in a pretty big, Bill Graham. So a pretty big venue for those guys. Yeah. And so, that's this. We don't have enough time to unpack that whole thing, but I love that you brought it up. And then let's close out the album with Where I Cannot Follow, which is just grueling and so epic and beautiful.
So this is actually a Keegan song. I didn't write any of the lyrics or the music. I wrote the intro, solo, and but all the other leads and all the other stuff, he had already pretty much had this song written. He came over, gave the lyrics, and I came up with the vocal melodies. He had the words, but I came up the way I wanted to sing it. He'd have to describe what that song was about, but I think for him, it was his journey of where he's heading musically, because he's in Slumbering Sun as well, and it was kind of where his writing was heading. But I felt like it's a perfect song. If we never write another song, and that's the last Destroy All That song, I think it's a perfect last song. And it's cool because we kind of get into atmospheric black metal territory a little bit, throw other nuggets of things in there, which was cool to do. And it was great because when I went in the studio and I recorded the Your Love Wraps Me Up, my brother-in-law, he's the one that mixed the album. And when he was mixing it, he's like, dude, you mind if I add a harmony on top of that? I was like, dude, yeah, you got a great voice. Go for it. So even he was like, I got to do something. I was like, that's cool. Because I wanted, with this record, with these two records, we've done all our records with Matt Melly, and he's done it with us since we started all the way to the end. And then my brother-in-law, he recorded our Hopeless EP, and we've always wanted to work with my brother-in-law again. And the direction that the music was going, I knew my brother-in-law could nail the mix. So I was like, we got to record with our dude, and we got to mix with our other dude. And it was cool getting everyone involved in the process.
That's rad. Thank you so much for unpacking that. Not always easy to talk about, but you seem to do a great job at it. You seem very ready to go. And, thank you again for sharing all that. I treasure this memory in this interview, and I can't say that for every interview, but this one. Just to end on a lighter note, I so many things to ask you about, but I love this Rat wall flag behind you, and I'm such a big Rat fan. And it's weird to me that there's 3 versions, Stephen Pearcy solo, Rat sort of, and Juan Crucier's the other voice of Rat, which is about the worst titled competing band name I've ever heard from Steve. Rest in peace to Steve Riley's LA Guns and Steve Riley, who passed. And their last record that came out was really good. People should go listen to it. It's a
No,
That's right.
I follow Tracy Guns. He seems like a cool dude, man. Like he's doing it right.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, all right. Okay, we'll just say it okay.
Yeah, he's probably all right. I would say like probably I think I wouldn't have eulogized my ex bandmate that I had acrimony with by saying negative shit about him while I was also trying to pay tribute to him. But that's me. I could be very petty and shitty as my friends, but like I wouldn't have done that. But anyway, I love LA. I like LA Guns a whole lot, and I love Rat. So I wanted your opinion on these multiple versions of Rat.
You forgot about Bobby Blotzer's Rat.
Bobby Blotzer.
That they ran to the ground.
Yeah, he probably. Well, that's why he patched it up with Steve, and he had to, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted Bobby Blotzer's Rat. And Juan, listen, respect to Juan. And I'm one of those guys that said, like, if someone passes away, like, okay, I don't know that Soundgarden can come back. I heard Linkin Park today is thinking about making some kind of comeback with a female singer or something instead of another dude. But like, I'm the person that says, listen, a tribute band with like half or 3/4 of the members is okay. But some bands you can't, the parts are not the same as the sum. Right. And Rat is one of those bands where I think it needs to be all those dudes to be competent.
I will say that dude that Stephen Piercy had on, I didn't even know Juan started his own Rat because I thought he was still in Rat with Stephen Piercy. That's funny. But the dude that was doing Warren DeMartini's part, that kid was actually pretty good. Zaff was his name. I thought he was good. And
Shredder.
He's a shredder. He's capable of covering Warren DeMartini. It's just the one thing about Warren DeMartini that's different. Yes, he shreds and he's super talented, but he puts so much melody and soul into what he writes. Like that's the one thing and I mean, they're also missing Robin Crosby's riffs. I mean,
another guy that's like Steve Colca, Def Leppard, unreplaceable dude.
Exactly.
Unreplaceable. Yeah, just can't replace him. You can get great. I love Viv. I love Vivian Campbell, bro. Dio, all that shit. But like, you got some guys just you can't take them out of the band and it's not there anymore. But yeah, like nobody refers to Juan Crucier as the other voice of Rat. Nobody, because he sang backup on the chorus of Round and Round. Does not make you the other voice of.
He does the one. Yeah, he does that too.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And good luck. I'm not shitting on. Go make your money if there's an audience for it. Whatever. I had interviewed Riley, and he was like, "Listen, like we fell out. They didn't nurture the brand for a long time, and they saw me bring the band back. That reignited interest for them to come back and reunite. So that's what they did. But like, it's tough. I just the vintage flag there just got me going.
So it's great because like I wear my Rat hat on tour, which I had made for $20. I was looking for a Rat hat. I couldn't find it, so I found like a decent Rat logo, and I hit up a company. I was like, "Can you make me this hat?" And like $20. So yeah, it became my tour hat. It's kind of like, like my Switch. Like, God, why can't I remember the arm wrestling movie right now? Over the Top. It's like my Switch. When I go on tour, I got to wear my Rat hat. Just puts me in the zone. But yeah, I've had people offer me, like the guitar player from Atomic Bitchwax was going to offer me $250 for that hat. I was like, dude, I got this made for $20. Just go ahead and make it yourself. It's like, this has my blood, sweat, and tears on it. This is not worth selling.
It's sentimental now, at least. Stage worn. Anywho, we covered like underground metal, new metal, and now glam rock. So this has been the best. Listen, man, thank you so much for your generosity and your time. Obviously, we'll be here to support whatever you do next with your partner and everything else. And just good luck. Enjoy these last shows and enjoy yourself. Be proud of this record. You have every reason to be holding your head up high. And I'm excited about whatever's coming next for you. Keep your head up, and we'll keep supporting you.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. You do the same to yourself, though, as well, right?
Yes. I'm gonna go. I can't go have whiskey and curse the skies. So I think I'm gonna go have a lay down and a cry. Thanks for hanging out with Ghost Cult. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.